Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. The topic for the panel discussion today is improving success rate in clinical practice, big data implications. Our chairpersons for this session are Dr. Lex Rattan and Dr. Rajkumar Manchanda, sir. And for panelists, we have with us Dr. Frederick Schroens, Dr. Theodoros Lilas, Dr. Michael Frost, Dr. Jawahar Shah, Dr. Parvesh Vaswani, and Dr. Suhana Aziz. As we all know that during COVID-19 times, various studies have been conducted at various places. Some of the studies are on prognostic factor research. Some have already been published and some are under publication. Monarch or the modified Narinjo criteria for homeopathy is very important for causal attribution, which is a necessity nowadays because we have to attribute that our homeopathic medicines have actually worked in those particular cases. It actually was proposed by Narinjo in the year 1981, where he had said that we can use how to estimate the probability of adverse drug reactions. This was taken forward by Dr. Lex Rattan in the year 2013, where he had proposed to use Narinjo criteria for improving homeopathy. Then further work on this was done in the year 2015 when a paper came up where, when a paper came up where modified Narinjo criteria was proposed. It was renamed as Monarch and a retrospective validation of the same was done in the year 2020. Now recently another study has come up where it has been a prospective validation of Monarch, which has recently been published. We have had a big data collection at various places, like one on tonsillitis, which had around 256 patients, the one on oncology, which had around 150 patients, and again one more study on dysmenorrhea with 120 patients. We have many case repositories now wherein we are pulling in data from all the places like the HCCR, proposed by CCRH, the Vitulka's Compass, Clificol, Homeopathy. In addition to it, we have Radar, we have many other windows as well. So as far as the implications are concerned, in the past, we had unstructured reports, there was lack of documentation, the experience was only in pockets, and since there was lack of collaboration, so the data was lost. Presently, we have structured records, we are showcasing our data, and we are analyzing it by prognostic factor research and various statistical tools. How we have to move forward? We have to validate these data, these records, we have to improvise our repertories, there is a need for algorithms and data collections. This whole session is basically on these things. Thank you. And I'll now request Dr. Saha to please take this session forward, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to each and everyone. Thanks, a very warm welcome to this session. First of all, I would like to welcome the chairs, our beloved Dr. Lex Rattan, sir. Dr. Lex Rattan is an MD, general practice, and he is currently an independent researcher and he is from Dutch Association of Homeopathic Physicians, the Netherlands. And I would also like to invite Dr. Rajkumar Manchanda, sir, currently the Director of Ayush, Government of NCT of Delhi, and Secretary Information and Communication, LMHI, and former Director General, CCRH. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Frederick Schroens. Has he joined?
Okay.
I am looking forward for that. Please continue.
Now I would like to welcome Dr. Theodoros Lilas, and he is from Vidulka's Compass, Greece. I would like to welcome Dr. Michael Frost. Probably he has not joined yet. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Jawahar Shah from Homepath Software, and welcome Cure Clinic from Mind Technologies, Mumbai, Maharashtra. Very warm welcome to Parvesh Vaswani, sir. He is a successful practitioner in Mumbai, and he is the main force behind development of the homeopathic software Synergy. We welcome you, sir, in this panel. And lastly, and not the least, Dr. Suhana Aziz, ma'am, research officer, scientist on CCRH, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. A very warm welcome to all of you, and we are here to discuss about big data implications and what are the implications of these big data in homeopathy practice as well as in homeopathy research. Over to you, sir.
So in addition to this, I have invited Dr. Devdatta Nayak as well as Dr. Naveen Pavaskar, because most important thing is sometimes we have a big data in public health, especially during COVID time. So I have invited some of the those who have presented this COVID big data in different halls. So I have invited them to discuss here. So we'll have some discussion on that issue also. So thank you for the brief introduction of all the subjects, and we have seen the presentations of different. I'm just waiting. Let the Frederick also be able to join. I think he will be able to join. He has the link. But what we see in our data, whenever we try to collect, there is always a lot of noise. So how to handle that? That is one of the very, very important question. So I would just like to start with Lex and all the, and that noise, if that noise enters into our Materia Medica's repertories, then we are going to bound to have relatively less effect or relatively no effect during our clinical practice. So most important thing is that whenever any data enters into our databases and repertories and in our Materia Medica, which normally an average homeopath always believes that whatever is coming out of it is the best remedy. And more rare the remedy is coming, the more great achievement they feel after repertorization if it has come. So that kind of feeling we have, because every homeopath largely rely on that. So how it is possible that our repertories should have more and more accurate data? This is what I think is most important thing for us. So Lex, please.
Thank you, Rice. I fully agree. When I have listened to all these presentations this morning, I have a feeling that we already have too much data. And that indeed noise variation is too much to handle, and that we have to go back to basics for what are our purposes of this data collection. But more than that, why is there so much variation? Why is there so much noise? Is this, there are lots of different opinions that seem paradigmatic. And so we have different groups of homeopathic practitioners. And still, we see that only about 50 medicines are used generally by the most of the practitioners, but we have 5,000, and we have groups handling different medicines. We have the groups handling different systems. And if all these, so we should use the data to make some ordering and not to create more chaos. And I think that the group that is sitting here on the table should go on and make a start now to progress. Thank you. Does anyone want to comment on that?
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, in between. I just forgot. Very warm welcome to Dr. Devdatta Nayak, sir. He is a scientist, CCRH, scientistry, and working in the epidemic cell of CCRH. Sir, welcome to the panel. Sir, please continue.
So, does anyone want to comment on the variation we already have in the data collected, and how we can manage this variation?
Paresh?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Manchanda and Dr. Rex. completely agree with what Dr. Manchanda and what you say, sir, that the noise is a very, very big issue in our homeopathy. So when we were making repertory, we realized that there are too many mistakes and there's too much of repetition that comes because every book that is written is a copy of somebody else. So, and when you start filtering out the repetition of data and the quality issues when you check, it is very important that there is some kind of reliability in the data. Now, a big issue is how do we decide who am I to judge any other doctor whether his doctor's input is right or wrong? Because there are different schools of homeopathy. When you look at a school which would give a lot of emphasis on specifics and therapeutics, for them, that prescription is 100% right. And if you look from a different school of homeopathy, they would say this prescription was completely wrong. So this follows the principle of homeopathy, that individualization with respect to patient, with respect to school of homeopathy. So and that's why as a what decision we took was that we would collect the data, try and make stringent criteria for the data, like how Dr. Frederick Scroens very nicely spoke about a lot of criteria that we have, how CCRH has a lot of criteria, and then give a choice to user. They can see the exact sentences of materia medica, exact description, what is there, what is the context, and then let user decide. So this is a combination of getting and collecting data and helping the user to decide what's right and wrong. This is the approach that we have thought a wise approach.
And what anyway, Vithulga's campus, from Vithulga's campus, anybody would like to say? Theodore?
Okay, thank you. We mostly agree with Lex Ratten that it's quite complicated to understand the data and derive useful results. So from the perspective of analyzing the data from a mathematical point of view or a computer science point of view, okay, you can reach some results, but there is still quite a lot of noise. So I think what we have used is to have not also as a key part of this analysis, experienced homeopaths who can understand and see why we have reached a positive result in a case, why it's a case cured. So I don't think it is possible to divide this scientific effort, but we need a multidisciplinary team that can handle the data, but the knowledge of the homeopaths is really crucial in order to understand and analyze them. So we believe that is required a combination of combined effort from several scientists in order to progress in this field.
Okay, Suhana.
Thank you. So Dr. Paresh has defied Frederick Schroens to provide the tool. Is Frederick already available to answer this?
I think he's not there.
Not yet. Well, maybe you can repeat the request because I think Dr. Schroens will have a very large responsibility in this, and maybe we'll have to discuss more how we can assist him.
I've sent a message. I think he'll be able to join.
Okay. Well, thank you, Theodorus. Do you have, I saw you have a lot of information already. And do you have any idea of, about how we can disperse all this information and how we can discuss how to, we have, I think we have an important starting point in the information you have.
Okay, thank you again. Yes, I think it will be really good for the community to share this information and research the available cured cases that are already in the database. And in this way, we have tried several attempts in analyzing ourselves these data, and the outcomes that I have presented previously are only a small part that we consider that are really interesting. We have also tried several approaches that didn't provide any really meaningful results. So it requires quite a lot of effort, and we can facilitate this process. It's not possible that inside Vithulka's compass all this research can be done. So it's necessary more scientists to work on this data and derive something that is really useful and meaningful for the homeopathic community.
Sir, Dr. Jawhar Shah wants to add something.
Thank you. See, with any issue, we have to start with problem definition. So if we define the problem very clearly, what is the purpose of doing this exercise? Then we go to the problem resolution. We try to resolve, say, huge data. And then comes the application of that. See, unless we take any definition to the resolution and its application, the problem definition will remain incomplete. No. So at this stage, we are trying to define what is the problem. It's a huge data, but how it can be applied to the practice. See, as we have more than 500,000 people available with us, if we are able to contribute evidence-based cases where it is clearly defined, we take it as a value that yes, this case of cancer has got cured, or this case of common cold has got cured. Let's not go to the next level. And there are three aspects to it, any data, which is one is clinical. We have a lot of clinicians who are working in the field, Then there is second aspect, which is research. And there are third aspect, these people who are working on the literature. So all this have to be combined. You just cannot work independently. And how this exercise can make the practice easy. Ultimately, we have to come to a practice. And if we are able to relieve the patient, see, ultimately, if patient gets all right, that's the proof. Let's not go even beyond that. So purpose has to be defined very clearly. And we must take all this work to the level of application to the practice. Because till the time we don't do it, like they have done in Clificol or in Vithulka's compass, or, the way in which Dr. Paresh Vasani is trying to pursue, and what is being done in CCRH is amazing. But all these things will have to come on one standardized platform. Unless we come on one platform, everybody will be working individually, and another meeting, another year, and we'll be discussing the problem again. This is what I believe. Application of the work.
I think this is a correct summary of the situation. So we have to combine the information, we have to bring it to the general homeopathic public, and that has to be practical. And so it's good that we sit together, but we have to make some concrete ideas, like how would this combination of information take place? Does anybody has a comment on that?
Dr. Suhana, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Anjali. So the data, no doubt, the data we have is heterogeneous. So through the machine learning platforms, we should be able to bring some homogeneity into the heterogeneous data that go into it. That is where we will succeed. because the practitioners will be, as Dr. Paresh has also said, there are different schools of homeopathy in India and abroad, classical, whatnot. We have everything which the practitioners use. So, but to take everyone on board on a common platform, and how we try to bring some order into that chaotic situation is how we will, succeed as a data management platform, or by using, various clinical decision tools, we'll be able to do that. So at CCRH, through the HCCR portal, what we are trying to do is we are actually inviting only cases which are unpublished. We are not taking in published cases, whereas those published cases will be having good level of evidence and a peer review. What we are trying to do is we are trying to encourage the practitioners and inculcate in them a process of a habit of documenting the cases properly. So that is what we are trying to do through that portal. So they will learn the documenting, which they can apply to the day-to-day practice. There will be many practitioners who do not do it because of lack of awareness, but then there are others who do not do it because of lack of time. So, but at least we can help the big group who are unaware of it, and we can guide them further as to how to document the case. And in the portal, we take in these cases, and then we try to analyze, because there are levels of evidences that we have kept, and there are fields which are kept on which we are giving during our assessment, we are actually grading them. So with that, and at every point, we'll be communicating back to the user, that is a doctor or the practitioner who is entering the case, and there will be a constant updation of their knowledge also, and how they should be documenting the case. So I think if this process we'll be able to sustain for a longer period of time, this guiding the practitioner about documenting the cases, because that itself will bring in a connection, of their why they are prescribing that particular medicine, and they are prescribing it for which ICD coded condition, clinical condition, and what are the investigations that they have used. We get a full flow of how that practitioner has succeeded in treating that particular case. So, and
Thank
the fellow
you.
practitioners, yeah.
So Hannah,
Right.
you are already mentioning a lot of issues that we should divide, I think. Your first remark was about machine learning. Does any one of us has experience with machine learning in our field? Yes, Dr. Jawahar?
I work extensively on machine learning and artificial intelligence. I run a research lab we have published over 40 different papers in machine learning area, but not in homeopathy, but we have started attempting to include machine learning domain and connecting with the clinical data. We recently started working with Director of Ayush, Dr. Manchanda, and his team.
It would be interesting indeed to see how this works in homeopathy, because we have very weak data that are very ill-defined, and we have to translate them into manageable data, and I think that might be a problem.
Yes, we have been experiencing this problem. There's no negative data. In the morning I was seeing some presentation, so 99% relief was shown. Only 1% failure was shown. It's not practically possible. There has to be strong control data sets, either positive control or negative controls. The habit of control data sets has to be there in order to build a good machine learning models, or in order to convince the outside world. Even if you look at the vaccine data, nobody says 100%. It could be 70, 60, 50, but they're having the real-time data, and that's how people accept that. So it's always good to have this control data set and go with the right numbers to the outside world.
Yeah. But we may expect many different data sets when we want to control. Everybody will control these data sets from his own paradigm. And I think there's lots of work to be done yet.
That's correct.
Does Theodorus, do you have
sorry
experience?
to interrupt you again. Dr. Frederick Croyens has joined. And welcome, sir, to the panel. And he needs no introduction. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Frederick, well, maybe Dr. Paresh can repeat his question to Frederick Schroens about his responsibility to make a platform for all different opinions.
Yeah, first I apologize because apparently I was not sent the link to enter into this hall, so I always got into hall 1 and 1 and 1 again. So anyway, Yvonne and Raj saved me and sent me the correct link. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, there was as a repertory manufacturer, there was this idea that the manufacturer, repertory manufacturer, will make a platform for all different opinions and in homeopathy. And I think you are. Thought I had some kind of despair in you about how to achieve this. Am I correct?
No. We are releasing, to speak concretely, we are releasing Synthesis Adonis. This is the result of 11 years of work that has been ongoing in the background. So if you will ask me what is the emotion linked to it, it's not despair, it is pride. So you must explain me why you hear despair in what I have been saying.
Well, I wonder how you are going to manage, you are going to manage the choices you have to make. Because I think you have to make many choices.
Yes, that's correct. And the first choice I've always made is the quest for quality. So this is number one. And then, of course, the next question is, what is quality? And the obvious reply, if quality is that we are precise in what we do, precise in our referencing, etc. So I agree with this one, and we need to have precision. And this is why, since a long time, I believe since Synthesis 7, we have given the possibility to refer all the information to the source, Materia Medica, etc., etc. So the first idea of quality is precision. The second idea is, according to me, transparency. And transparency is, how shall I say, resolves the different paradigms, as you like to call it, Lex, and the different ideas that people have. I give you one example. Someone may have a proving, or no, let's say the same proving is given to two people. If one person makes the additions from this proving, you may end up with, let's say, 300 symptoms to be repertorized, okay? If you give that proving to another person, another team, you may end up with 200 or 500 symptoms, many of them different. So we have to accept, we cannot oblige our minds to think alike. There are differences. And this is why we need transparency, because this leads to quality. If then one team makes an addition in a way that is not acceptable by someone else, a dialogue is created. And this dialogue is going on for years in our team, with our team. People say, why did you make this addition? Why did you make this rubric? And I don't find this addition in Lippes books. Where does it come from, etc., etc. So transparency is like a catalyst to increase the quality of the data. And then the third idea I have about quality is that there must be flexibility. For the sheer idea that the work that Theodoros is doing with his team is, how shall I say, very much aligned with George Vitulkas, and you know how much I and everybody else has esteem for George Vitulkas. But I apologize to say it is one approach. It is one idea. And so we must have the possibility to accommodate other ideas, approaches as well, which may end up being different remedies and different symptoms. And so if we have these three aspects, precision, transparency, and flexibility, I think we can evolve in the direction of better quality of data.
I hear that you say that you have this discussion within your team, and I hear that same discussions are also in the VC team. But what I miss is the discussion between your team and the VC team and all the other teams.
Well, there have been, especially with the Vitulkas Compass team, there have been discussions and meetings. It's true that they have not led to a deeper collaboration. There have been discussions in the past between me, myself, and Roger van Zandvoort. To give a few examples, I've exchanged emails with Paresh, dear friend Paresh. I've met Jawar, etc. So, but yes, there have been contacts, there have been discussions, but it's true, Lex, they have not led to a deeper collaboration or exchange of ideas, exchange of data, whatever. That is true.
Could the problem be a lack of structure?
Structure on what level, Lex?
Well, we are promoting our ideas, and we are, maybe we are discussing alongside each other and not toward each other. And these are all individual discussions, and I think we need some kind of moderator and some kind of platform that we can first lay down the basic ideas before we discuss them.
Can you give like one example of such a basic idea?
Well, you have mentioned some of the ideas behind the clavicle, behind I still call it Archibald, different names. And we have also seen some ideas about VC, but I do not have an oversight, despite the fact that I really try to have that. And that is something that I think should be achieved first, that we have an oversight about different ideas and about the data we have.
This platform can be based upon the blockchain, because you have multiple school of thoughts. Everybody is strong in his own way. So we can make a decentralized system, because if you assign some central authority, maybe some in Europe or in India, there will be issues, there will be clashes of interest, and everybody is producing his own data. So the platform could be a blockchain kind of system. It's a decentralized ledger system where the patient data can be given. Suppose you're talking that this medicine, I've thought of new 10 rubrics. Let this rubric goes to, in different expert way, and let them approve. If we get approval, then the rubric will be promoted. Okay. So all expert will agree, and that will enable the collaboration. Otherwise, we are just spread out in different geography. So blockchain could be one of the potential solution for such kind of a.
So, okay, blockchain is a very good idea. Could you present to all the people present here some ideas and some example of how to put on a blockchain? I mean, this is in the near future, not now.
Yeah. So maybe I'll come up with the concrete idea and the presentation in later stage, and I'll be able to put down all the problems which you're facing in a blockchain situation.
Yeah. So we can make some structure based on blockchain. And if you could give us some, within a month or so, some structure how we could do that, then we could discuss this and we go on with this discussion. Do you think you can manage that?
Yes, I'll be happy to do that. I'll be happy.
Okay. So there's one concrete idea, blockchain. Are there other ideas how we can exchange, how we can get to a better communication and exchange of what we already have?
So, Dr. Lex, I want to put two thoughts here. One, first, that we make sure that whatever organization or a system we establish, whether it's through blockchain or through anything, it must be very inclusive of different schools of homeopathy. Because I'm sure you are very well aware that how our homeopathic community is very largely divided into classical and different schools.
Yeah.
So it has to be very inclusive of different schools of thought processes. That's number one. And second, we also need one higher organization to which we all can respond to. So in past, we have communicated with Vitulka's Compass. As Dr. Frederick rightly said, we have done communication, but it did not move forward because of some reasons. And now we have to overcome those and combine together under some organization, which can, like, just give you a simple example that you can be a leader under whom different organizations would work together with one goal.
Yeah.
So we need one
It can
higher
be done
authority.
under Dr. Manchanda and Dr. Kamal.
Yes, yes.
It can be done under them because see,
Sure.
they are, Dr. Manchanda has got the world
Not like that.
experience.
It's not that easy, boss.
No, sir, you
I
are
know it's
extremely
not easy,
respected
but
figure for us.
let me complete 1 second. See, in other systems of medicine, they come under one roof, they speak one language. COVID was the right time where we could have come all under one roof, and it was the most golden opportunity we had to unite together. And that was the time everybody had a differing opinions.
True.
So the problem is that we believe in individuality of the patient, and we believe in individuality of organization, and we believe in individuality of different schools of thoughts. And that is the reason, this individuality, and that is why in my lecture I said 3 things that come under one roof with one voice. Ubuntu effect. Everybody should work only for homeopathy. Second thing, come together, the redwood effect. We should get connected from the roots and not from externally, from the heart and brain both. And the third thing, our dedication and commitment should be to relieve the patient. And even if what we are talking of the results, what you said rightly, that we talk about the results, but we don't talk about the mistakes which we have done. Before coming to causticum, you gave 3 other remedies, and why you gave, what is the reason, what mistake you did, and what made you perceive and differentiate those remedy and come to the prescription. So unless we define the process and unless we come together, it is going to be just one more discussion. See, we have to be, as he said, Frederick said it very rightly. We have to be very precise. We have to be qualities conscious, and we have to be open to sharing. Unless all these 3 qualities are inculcated in our system, because not that every mistake we are reporting. No. In the beginning, there was a presentation which they said, remdesivir failed, this failed, this failed, this failed. They have failed, but they are admitting that they have failed. Here we should be very open in discussing, and our focus should be
Do you think, Dr. Jawahar,
homeopathy and not
a
particular school of homeopathy? I mean, this is what I believe. That only we can come together.
Do you think that you can put something like you mentioned now, that a precision, that you can put this on paper and exchange with the others?
Sir, we have been working on AI since quite some time, and ML also we have been working. And trust me, I started my journey in 1976, and only thing which I have learned that homeopathy is like Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the only language which is most scientific and which can be covered by computer. And for ML and AI, homeopathy is the perfect tool. And if a right prescription totalities are defined, every student who comes out of the college will be able to prescribe. Here, once the student is out, and I'll tell you, because I know from my heart, Every student who comes out becomes more and more confused. Which school to follow, what to get, how will he get the results? And each school has to say, in this conference, everybody could have sent their students. Are there students there? That is the question. And we have to, unless we define and unless we are open to the problem. The problem is that we have to be open to the problem. We have to define where is the problem. And unless we come to the solution, the change and the growth will not happen in homeopathy.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is that many people say to others that they have to be open, but are we all open? And are we, I think one of the problems is that the variation we meet in homeopathy is mostly caused by statistical variation and mere chance. So people have different experiences and they think because of bias that this experience is the truth. And so there is a lack of principal understanding of heuristic bias among the homeopathic practitioners. And I think this would be a point to discuss and to get into the front line first. How do you think about that?
Yes, Lex, before I reply to your question, I would like to agree solidly with my friend Jawar that we may discuss this goal, this ideal of working together under one roof into one direction, but it is almost opposite to the core of homeopaths, which is individualized medicine, individualized thinking, and individualized working. And with our project, we've come across so many times this stumbling block. So I don't know, we can reflect, but I must support Jawar's idea on this level.
Nevertheless, we all use your repertory all over the world. And that is contradictory to this individuality.
No, Lex, my repertory has been copied and been the source of
Frederick, you know it very well that I've been open about the data, I've been open about the things, and I can very honestly say that all the softwares, I have shared some of the data very transparently, all.
Yeah.
So we have to be open, basically our focus should be like Ubuntu, coming together, one focus, one purpose, one voice. How beautifully Dr. Raj Manchanda has said. He has said one word. And unless we do that with one voice, things will change, will not change.
But this is the problem, Jawar, to do it like this. This is the problem. And what I would like to say to Lex's remark then is that we have been trying to achieve exactly this with the Clifical platform, where basically we asked everybody bring in COVID cases. The COVID cases you take as always, and you have the name of the patients, the sex, the age, the remedy, the prescription, etc. We ask only two additional things to enter cases in Clifical. The one is to enter a few repertory symptoms which substantiate your prescription, and the second is to evaluate your prescriptions according to the Oridal scale which we have chosen. And we have seen that this is so difficult for so many people that, Lex is right. We need to change in the mindset. And the people say, I have 300 cases. I've heard it. I have 300 cases of COVID successfully treated. And then we ask, do you have a case where you have some repertory symptoms, where you have dates of evaluation and when the patient got better, etc.? No. I prescribed the remedy because, according to me, the genus epidemicus was arsenicum. So I prescribed arsenicum. And so we must change the mindset, more research-oriented of our homeopathic community. And I believe, again, Vitulka's Compass is doing a great job there by changing the mindset of the community into more objective thinking. And we will like to support that change. And it's not going to come, Lex, I apologize, by creating some super commission. because you have these hundreds of thousands individually working people there. We need to slowly and repeatedly say the mindset needs to be more research-minded, more objective.
Okay.
I agree
On
with
the other
you.
hand,
No
we
authority is
have
required.
now some data sets, and maybe I could invite Dr. Anjali to report how these data sets can be used. We have this experience in Delhi with the group around Dr. Manchanda and Dr. Anjali that were discussing these data sets. They were discussing the variation among each other, and I think that was a very interesting experience. Dr. Anjali, can you tell me about tell us a bit more about that?
Sir, actually, when we started, the first good thing that Dr. Manchanda sir did was that he told us that whatever cases we are taking, we have to document them. This was something which was over and over again and again instilled in us. Then Oracle scale was actually introduced in our day-to-day life. I mean, every day we were assessing each patient with Oracle. Initially, it was difficult, to be honest, because we have 108 dispensaries in Delhi itself, all running free of cost, and we are getting a lot of patient load. But slowly and slowly, we got groomed that, okay, Oracle has to be done for all our follow-up patients, and we have to record those cases. So once when COVID came, we were sort of partially prepared how to take a case. Then we prepared Excel sheets wherein we put in all the symptoms. We took regular trainings of our doctors where we told them, okay, this is the sheet. We even validated those sheets so that it becomes easier for them to just pick up the choices and feed in. Because feeding takes time, sir. And if we are seeing, say, 100 patients in a day, then definitely a doctor by the end of the day gets so exhausted that he fails to remember each and everything. So once we put in the data validation in those sheets, then we found that it is now easier. They were reporting us more cases. They were talking to us on almost every day basis, like on telephone or whatever the case may be. This is the problem we are facing. How do we do it? They were ready to learn. I mean, that openness is what was instilled in us, that if we are wrong, we have to accept we are wrong. And if we are right, we have to understand that others can also be right. And this is how we move ahead. So once we got those data, we sat together, we analyzed them, we reanalyzed them. We again talked to our practitioners one-to-one, like, listen, this is the problem I'm facing in your cases. This is the problem we are facing in your cases. What do you think about them? Then they told us probably we are prescribing more of belladonna or Hepaself. And they were ready to understand that, okay, if we are doing it, we need to, they were ready to change themselves. I think that was one of the USP of our doctors. I should say that even though some of them are very senior ones, but still they accommodated themselves on a common platform. And this is how we got a good quality data. And if you'll see our studies, sir, despite doing all those efforts, we could only utilize almost 2/3 of our data. 1/3 of the data still was not utilized because of various reasons, because we had a very strict selection criteria. But despite that much effort, this is what I'm trying to say. So I feel that if we can globally or in our own pockets, if we can just be a little more open, like Dr. Jawahar Shah said, that we don't accept criticism well. But for our Delhi government doctors, at least I can say that we people were quite open, and we accepted their criticism in a positive manner. We changed ourselves. We thought, okay, this is our problem areas. We have to work on them. And we worked on, and it was the consistent over a time period, because we were already sort of now more of into data collection, because initially we thought we are just clinicians. We just have to sit, see a patient, individualize a case, and give a medicine and be happy about whatever we are giving. And if a patient is doing well, we are very happy. And if the patient is not doing well, then also we cannot do much. But now we started understanding, if a patient is not doing well, we have to actually think, why is it that so? Is it on my part that I'm not taking the case properly? Or maybe I'm not that open to other medicines as well. because that mindset is always there, that if I, as a person, as a physician, if I, as Dr. Anjali, I'm thinking that this case is of causticum, so probably I will not be very comfortable with giving gelsemium or something else, because I have already given causticum first and I thought that it always works better. But that openness came into all of us, and I think it was more of a team effort that actually that was basically the reason which we could do something, and we were very open.
And all of you contributed. Lex must have taken at least 2-3 classes. Theodore also took 1 class. Frederick also took 1 class of all our doctors. All these things actually collectively worked, and that could. Kamal also took 2 classes of why data, what is the quality of data, and what the problem we are facing in homeopathy. So, and fortunately, these people are very bright people. Working with us are very bright people, selected through a very, very stringent process. So like CCRS, this team is also like that only. So, but we're not working in that direction. But now some of us are working in that direction, and now it has become relatively easy to collect relatively better data. That's the idea.
Do I understand well that the spreadsheet was in fact an instrument for a more open mindset?
Yes. And if you remember, we modified our spreadsheet at least 3-4 times with every wave, with every situation. We modified that, and that became relatively easy. And I think Devdatta is also having experience on the similar lines. He would also like to discuss. Please, Devdatta.
Sir, yes, sir. We have during this time, because Dr. Manchanda knows, we have started this type of data collection since long. In 2015 onwards, we have a long experience on this. We have started in Kerala. That data, it was very difficult when we have started in Kerala, in UP. These are big data, means around population of around 20,000, 30,000. They spread over around 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers. So it is a very hard data to have this type of from a particularly from population, widespread population. And but that experience helped us in COVID basically, because our team was very trained. We have 10 doctors who are very trained. Every day they visit the field, and we have a trained manpower of health workers, those who are in the field. We have around 100 health workers with us in the urban slums. Each health worker takes care of around 500 people. And the first level of screening is at the level of health workers. They identify the persons who are sick. If they have we have a spreadsheet of, we have 2 types of spreadsheet. We have taken, one is registered based, where we have identified items where they have to put the marks and write the information, that is for health worker. And also we have a software based, that is also part of software, which is a dynamic software. That means every time you look into that, it will update. And that we gradually incorporated to our data collection system. But in registered is basically with our health workers. And once health worker reports anybody who is a sick person or any signal is there, this is related to our case definition. So we have the doctor's team who approaches this person to verify that data, whether the person falls into the case definition, like which is a suspected case or it is a probable case. What is the then we follow that case till the symptom gets resolved or it is a loss to follow. So that is the way we have collected this data. It's very reliable data in terms of our information. And with that point, this our experience helped us for particularly this COVID. And now we have completed data collection of around more than the same population. Now they are under follow-up since March 2020. From March 2020 till date, and maybe it will be getting extended because of Omicron. We are thinking to get rid of all this data collection because we are also tired. So every day to follow of around 40,000 population in Delhi slums every day, and then to get the data right and get Excel sheets. And but still, because of Omicron, I think it will be getting extended, and it was discussed with our Director General. So beyond that, what I want to say here, the data of homeopathy is not always a simple data of present complaint. What I am finding very difficult with our reporting and all these things. the variables which are very much responsible for effective prescription of a constitutional prescription are not acute symptoms. These symptoms comes and go with passing of pathogenesis. Also, when a natural history of disease progresses, some symptoms will go and they will go automatically. That is natural regression. But the factors like the upbringing of a natural habitat, or particularly my desires, my aversion, like if I belong to Odisha, to my district we take additional salt. It is a by culture. When they will giving the diet, they will give additional salt to us. So if additional salt, if I take, it may not be salt desire. So these are the latent variables. There are variables which play, but they don't come to the surface. If you will go to the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, they have done extensive work on this type of constitutional and identify the constitution. To identify the constitution, they have done extensive research to find out the latent variables which plays a role in the success of prescription. If we are not looking into that type of prescription, then we will be partly correct and major part will remain. Like we cannot get into the constitutional prescribing. Like we can look into like acute prescribing, acute disease, you can tackle with this type of data collection and data clustering. But we will not able to get into the measure where we have a upper hand with relation to other system, because where we tell if I give a constitutional drug, I can modify their physiological, their immunomodulation. These things can be happen, which our the known those doctors who get a better name, they have a better practice, they have a more claim on that type of prescribing. So, and the second thing is that the subjective variant, what I have gained with our drug validation studies, there is a lot of variation with doctor to doctor. If I tell it is a constipation, doctor's understanding comes into play. There are 5 doctors. Each doctor has its own education and they may take constipation means hard school, but they should have that type of training. After training also, there is a lot of variation events with related to subjective data collection. And second part, because both are the human beings, the patient itself interprets own symptom, then he tells me. Like if somebody asks me what is your desire, then I have to think itself. As a homeopathic doctor also of last 20 years, still I have to think what is my desire. So that is the intellectual process goes on. Then I give some idea. That may be a bias. Second thing comes, then who perceives it? He is also intellectual, that is a biological machine. He also processes the data, then he perceives it. So this type of lot of variation where we have taken, and the next to come the spectrum variation. I know the disease of this part. I have understanding of a disease this part. So I will fall into this part of understanding of disease. I don't know full spectrum of the disease. And full spectrum of understanding of a personality with relation to geographical, environmental, because our drugs is related to many factors. Environmental factor also come to play. If you will go to one of the trial of our trial filariasis, you will find Rustux is very effective in Puri, which is a coastal belt. But when it comes to the Gudivada, Rustux is not frequently prescribed. So these factors has to be taken on data validation to get a really this validated data will be effective when you go back to the prescribing. One way, till that what we are doing, one flow. We are collecting, we are telling this will be valid. But when I will apply with this data back to the patient, then this will be acting. That part is still lacking. We have never taken any study on that. If I take all this with likelihood based, this is the thing, then I prescribe it. How much successful I will be in clinic. And third part is that when it comes to the rare prescribing, like we have experience with dengue, we have given cadmium salt to one patient only. We could not get second patient of that case. We have given the Sapir to one patient. But some drugs which is given majority of patients, that is wasn't good. But the rare drugs and the artistic part of prescribing, it will be little difficult to take into validation. That is the where the success between a experienced person, because Mathematica is very well known by a youngster. Because with the when I was passed out from MD or VHMs, I was very thorough with this Allen's note, boring Mathematica. I can tell page wise. But the things is that with passing time will be forgot. But the artistic part is with the senior prescribers. That makes them more successful than a youngster.
So thank you, Devdutt, for just giving an overview of what kind of situation we are in. And we have shared our Delhi government experiences. Data capture, I think only one way is the way: training, training, and training. And the person wherever we are giving training, they should also be adequately interested in that. We cannot just push them to do it. That's the thing. And so how we can think now, the point what I feel is that how we can think people, what motivate a person to do accurate and high quality data, whether it is money, whether it is recognition. Like in Delhi government doctors, the bait that I gave, and that I told them, look, this is the situation. And this we started, like Anjali mentioned, before COVID. We never knew about the COVID. I just, because I often, if you remember Frederick and Theodore, and Lex, I always say that we are having 1.8 million data. Even our minister in our opening remarks said that we treat 2 million patients in a year. But what is happening to those 2 million patients? Where that 2 million patient where data is going into the drain every year. So I just told them, let us do just 2,000 cases out of 2 million. So this is how I started building up, and then with the request, with the promise that I will give you recognition. So when I submitted these papers for publication, they said, oh, there are 35 authors. Is it true? I said, yes, they are true. They have to be given some recognition. But this is how, so somewhere recognition, somewhere money, something needs to be done for high quality data capturing. And another point, what I realized why people don't put data is that they shy away in admitting failures, number one, and they shy away in discussing when they give more than one drug or two drugs in their prescribing. So these are the also two main factors. So somewhere in our data capturing process, like in Clifical, I think you have also that possibility that if you are given two drugs, you mention that two drugs. So, and we will see whether we have to throw that data later on into the dustbin or we have to use by any means. But so what I see that what happens that doctors sometimes what they do, they divide their quality totality into compartmentalization. Okay, this patient looks like to me a phosphorus patient, but is having very acute bleeding. So I must give phosphorus first and then millifolium along with that. So when I tell them as a director that, look, whatever you are doing, you have to report it. So they say, okay, let me report only phosphorus, let me not report millifolium. So otherwise my director will be unhappy that I am just doing more than two practice. So we have to, so what is going on in the market, what is going on in the mind of a prescriber and then one doctor when I started talking, no, you tell me the real picture. Sir, you are sitting in your office. We are answerable to our patient. Our patient should say next time, I'm well. So I'm giving both. I don't know whether phosphorus worked or millifolium worked, but I gave both. Because I want my patient should be happy next visit. Otherwise, I will have less, my dispensary incidence will fall. So that kind of situation is also there. So we are into a very, very complex situation. And once I did survey among homeopathic doctors of India that how you prescribe. So there were only 5% people in that conference. They said that they are the purist, but those purists were also only from one school of thought. Their brain was so much brainwashed that they were unable to think anything else. So they were brainwashed and they were the only purists. Otherwise, most of the people were giving more than one medicine, sometimes two medicine according to their own practice, and they're all successful in their own clinics and are earning also good amount, But so how to take out data out of this complex situation is also difficult. Like with Lex, what we did, we segregated all those cases where more than one medicine was given. So we only analyzed where one medicine was given. So, but I think with the now emerging data analytics tools, even we can analyze these complex situations when we can give 2 medicines or 3 medicines, and if it necessarily has effect on our day-to-day effectiveness of our prescription. So that also somewhere in our software we should have some inbuilt situation. And so to Lex and all of you to just further reflect upon.
Sir, my point is that data verification program should not be with all the physicians. It should be with the dedicated and with very much good knowledge about every aspect of homeopathic prescribing, because every part of our life comes into account in when we are prescribing. Sometimes past history, sometimes many things, environmental, anything comes into that.
Devdatta, I
if they
agree,
don't know that,
Devdatta,
so if we will take everybody to the,
this we cannot decide.
but sir,
in
we
my
have to
experience in Delhi, I found one doctor, I thought X person cannot do this. But ultimately, that person produced the maximum data. And that was that much that they could produce at least 1/3 data of Delhi government is coming from that institution only. So it is only when we give them opportunity, when we give them training, when we give them motivation, we don't know who can do better.
No, I am not
this
taking
is also one
every
thing very important.
It should be
but
over
I fully agree with
time.
you that everybody can't do. This is,
over a period of time, you have to find out who are the capable.
Of course.
That is the thing.
I agree. So Hannah wanted to say something.
Yeah, right, sir. So we are talking about the quality of data that's coming into it. But then what about the data collection tools that we use? As far as being in a research organization, there is a need for drastic modernization of the way we collect data from our institutes, because we collect institutes from data from multiple sites. And that is like, we are not collecting it on any common platform. We are totally relying on the site researcher or the investigator who is taking the data. And as a coordinating institute in Delhi, we then try to sift through the data and see what they have entered. And we sit and speculate whether are we getting the right data, have they prescribed right. But then if we have a modernized research platform of maybe CCRH, if CCRH can develop one like that. So on a real-time basis, we have coordinators at the headquarters. On a real-time basis, the headquarters can monitor the study on a daily basis actually. And you can actually point out there is no chance of any sort of data manipulation if we are able to do such a thing. So that will bring more credibility into the data that we generate, and I think that is
Swana, that is for clinical. We are talking real-time data. So far, we are having 3 tools now. One is Vitulka's campus, the other one is Clificol, and the third one that HCCR you are developing. These 3 tools are there for homeopathic doctors. But the question is, how many of us are doing it? Like with Vitulka's campus, if you remember, I requested all the 100 scientists. Out of that, only 10, 20, 15 are working. Theodore can tell us how many have able to actually enter data. And but it must be improving with time. I'm sure about it.
Yes, sir, definitely. As you said, the more the training we give, more the
And especially, and
The attitudes
similarly,
will
we
change.
experimented with Clificol also in Delhi. I took password given to all my 100 doctors, but then COVID came. Nobody could enter too much data into Clificol, so much as far as I know. But these tools are there. We need to work, and then we can help in improving these tools.
I think it's very essential that we do both things together. So we gather data and let that data talk, and that we can analyze the data. I think we are too much discussing before we are collecting data, and data are not collecting because we are discussing too much. And when we have data, we have something to discuss, like your group showed that they were able to discuss the differences, and there was much large learning process in that. So I should think we should go that way.
Sir, I have a point that we should work with a smaller data and then find out the issues which we are facing. And then we could, formalize the whole process, that would be a right way to do. Working on a huge data to start with is always difficult to manage. And I have a question for Anjali and the other lady, Suhana. Why do you take only unpublished cases? What is the reason? Any particular reason? Because I heard in your presentation that you take only unpublished cases, because there are a lot of good published cases material available. Because I tried to study 107 cases of Kent. In one, I could not understand, not even out of 107, one I could understand why he gave a particular medicine. I'm telling you the truth. So there are
Right, Dr. Shah.
something which we need to understand, which is much more deeper.
No, Dr. Suhana, you go on, then I'll speak.
Right, Dr. Shah. So the published cases means they have actually gone through that process of documenting that case, and they have gotten it published in a peer-reviewed journal. So why we are actually trying to encourage the practitioners, or the private practitioners, or the other practitioners who have totally no idea about reporting the cases also. And there will be a few % who actually know about the case reporting guidelines and all. So once they put data, and in our webpage, we also have the training schedules also, whereby we teach them how they have to document the case. We have the formats and all that. So we are actually trying to inculcate, in, as Manchanda sir said, we are trying to inculcate in them an attitude towards documenting the cases in the proper way. Yeah, that is what we are trying to encourage. So once they put it in a structure, so then we are actually encouraging them. They can go for publication. It's not that they put the cases in our portal and then that's it. It cannot be published. It's not like that. So we give them a proper training, a guidance as to how to frame their case report, and then they can go ahead with their publications.
Suhana, but a lot of published cases are genuinely not adhering to the standards which you have defined. See, the standard which you have defined is this high, and most of the cases which, even if they are published, they are at this level. So you should help them to grow.
Right.
I'll share my experience
to that
of
next
this.
level.
Right.
Please understand this.
That is there. Right. We can.
I'll share my experience of this colloquium. In this colloquium, we are presenting about 100 case reports and case series of different diseases submitted. So when these were submitted in the form of abstracts, at least 70% of these were rejected because of one or the other reason. So then when I was about to send letters on just say that it is rejected. So I thought, no, these people are at least better than those who are treating and are not submitted to the colloquium. So I accepted all 70 as posters and written to them, look, we have found one observation about you, that when you present your final thing, use these home case care guidelines. And if it was an observational study, please follow these steps in presenting your poster. So I was happy. And then when we requested them for the poster. So I requested Lex, I requested Robert Van Haslin, I requested Michael Fras, and many of our senior colleagues to evaluate them, at least talk to them, mentor them. Objective was that let me not lose these 70 people somewhere in different parts of the world, and those who have dared to submit something for presentation. And I think we are reasonably successful in that, though I got some criticism also. Why you are admitting this case? He has not mentioned anything. I thought it's okay. We are not going to publish anyway. It is just an opportunity to mentor, discuss, and see how it ought to be. So I'm sure out of those 70, 50 people must have not heard about the name of these guidelines, which we were mentioning. So at least they have gone back, they studied those guidelines and tried to do best whatever they could do with the information they had. So we need to do that kind of mentoring exercise much more than what we are doing. So far, most of us are working on our desk and are trying to improve our software. So somewhere that missing link with the clinician, every day we need to do that.
See,
that those clinicians must know that this is what is the importance of this. Even if they enter one case, what is the meaning of that for homeopathy and for themselves? How it's going to help them also in their career. That is also one of the things what I feel is very important.
So there is one more thing.
You know, I in last 20 years, what last 20 years I would not have interacted with Dr. Manchanda. I have done it in 2 months. And he has been so open and he is experimenting different things, you know. So many things he has experimented in this colloquium. Trust me, practically we have been interacting every day, maybe once or twice. And see, this openness is required. You know, a leader, a mentor has to be very transparent and open and willing to learn. And I'm telling you, he can write a book now on running any event.
Sometimes I think I should start. No, I'm thinking I should start event management company.
So there is one more thing.
Yeah, please.
What I have seen at grassroots level is that our youngsters, our young physicians, they are actually inhibited because they feel these guidelines are so cumbersome, and it is so, for them, it is actually very difficult at the initial stage to incorporate in their practice. But once they start doing it, then it becomes easier. It looks very difficult, but it is actually not that difficult. Only thing is if we can simplify it further, maybe a little more simplified versions. So I think they'll be more encouraged to try them and conserve their data.
Dr. Anjali, in our days, when I started 45 years back, there were no cameras. You had to call cameramen. Now, today, everything is in this one device. Everything. Patient will send you the report, everything. So submitting evidence-based cases has never been simple than today. Trust me. And if we encourage more a number of people, I'm telling you, and only way we'll be able to strike a balance between other system of medicine and homeopathy, that we have 1 lakh cases of evidence-based. Khatam.
No, it's not that easy. Anyway, now we have 10 minutes to go. Lex and all are requested to give their final comments. All the members and moderators would like to give their final comment.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think this COVID-19 project was very interesting. And I got more convinced since I have been doing data collection projects for 20 years now, and about 10 projects, most of them in India also. I get more and more convinced that the actual data collection should guide us. We are talking too much about theoretical objections, and when we give when we guide our doctors and give them the opportunity to put the data into a spreadsheet and give it back to them and say, well, this is what we see. What do you see? That would be the way forward, because we have too long been discussing about how we should do that. And people will do it differently. We have to accept the different opinions. That's my idea.
Thank you. Frederick?
Of course, today we can only speak about what we can do today and tomorrow and next week, which for sure, I think it's a big opportunity for the homeopathic community to align to scientific thinking and scientific approach, the things that the Lex emphasizes. But I think on the other hand, if we speak about big data sets, we should not forget all the data that come from the past. And so I believe indexing them and even using them, and then using them to verify or, how shall I say, deny them, is part of the job. So we should not forget about all the past data neither.
I do agree with you. Parish?
So I would like to emphasize our homeopathic community, though we say we have so many patients all over the world, so many in India, but now we learned practically from Dr. Manchanda that how difficult is to get the authentic data. So I see future is joining hands together. Different organizations working dividedly, it's only going to prolong our time to come out with conclusive evidences. If we work together for the cause of homeopathy, forgetting our individualness, our individual organizations, but just work for the cause and it will work better and faster. That's what I would say.
Theodore?
Thank you. It was an interesting discussion, and I welcome also the proposal of Lex Ratten to have someone to moderate the discussions. I think they will be more fruitful compared to one-to-one discussions if a moderator finds the common goals of all the members and promotes the cooperation. Yeah, of course, it's welcome to improve and progress homeopathic practice. It's something we all want. Just a few answers at the issues that were discussed. So from we have worked a lot on not really understanding, but focusing on cured cases, what really works in homeopathy. And this is slightly different to artificial intelligence and new techniques in machine learning. So we have also tried machine learning techniques, and it's possible to even get better selection of remedies in some cases. But up to now, we are not confident that without the reasoning behind, that you can generalize these results. So we still work with classical homeopathy and try to identify rules that we can justify and provide to the practitioner. Of course, in the future, when we collect more data, it's good to utilize more of these new algorithms that have been applied also in many other fields, machine learning and artificial intelligence. And regarding quality of the data, it's really important. So we also try to filter out our data, and then we result with a very small set. So one of the challenges for big data is to derive meaningful results from data that are not so good quality. So this is also a challenge. And a common understanding that we have so far is that practitioners do not have the time to record all the required information. So if we focus on gaining time for the practitioner that he can provide the useful data, it's really important. So to have a system that he can use, and we can also collect the necessary information and utilize it. So I think we are also welcome all this initiative and effort. we would really like to help all together in this direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Shah.
Thank you, sir.
Kamal. Okay, you want to say?
One second, one
Yes.
minute. The most important thing which I believe that we should have openness, and that gives me a reminder of Dr. Bhatnagar, who was based in Delhi, and he has cured more number of cases than anybody could imagine with multiple medicine. Second thing, Dr. R.P. Patel, I have been to his clinic not less than 10 times. And he is the only physician who was so transparent that even if he was giving 3 medicines, he would write it on the paper and he would give a reason why. The question is that why do we restrict ourselves to one particular sentence that only this is right? I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. We come out with absolute openness and see what works for a patient. That is what I would suggest, and we should be happy to do that.
Okay, thank you. Kamal, just last comment.
We are open to to build up such platforms, whatever the problem the fraternity is facing. The platforms for the guiding how the data should be collected, how it should be machine learning ready, and even if certain algorithms are not working in machine learning, there are alternatives and there are advanced systems like deep learning, and also those can also be tried.
Okay,
thank you.
Devdatta. Your voice unmute. Unmute, please.
As you sir, then Dr. Lex also knows, we have traveled some path. So there are, because in public health, we have at least done something and we are now updated ourselves. So we should move ahead and we should reinvent ourselves to the modern technologies.
Okay, thank you. Suhana.
Agreed.
Yes, sir. So whatever we do, it should be of use to the we should be an add-on to the public health delivery system. So it is always, whatever data we collect, we should be able to relate it to the public health problems of the society that we live. And in India, homeopathy, being a cost-effective treatment system, can actually cater to the primary healthcare because of the simple reason that it is cost-effective. So bringing out such analytics using such big data platforms, which are more centric to the Indian scenario, would definitely help taking homeopathy and integrating it in the public platform of the nation.
Thank you. So my observation is just one, that we have to enable others to do that. We have to create leaders and enablers, those who can do this. This is what I feel, and where at times it is very difficult to have that kind of, like, our platform should be as easy, as user-friendly as possible. And as we have traveled a path, all of you have traveled a path, we have to make it more comprehensive, more user-friendly, and we have to enable others to do it. Only then we can have high-quality data. Over to both the moderators. Thank you. So, Anjali and...
Thank you, sir. Dr. Frederick wanted to add something. No? Thank you, sir. It was a very successful session and we had a very good interaction. And we have learned that how in the applications of big data regarding volume and velocity and veracity can be addressed to. I thank all my chairs and panelists for the same. Thank you. Can we have a group photograph, please? The IT people.
Thank you, everybody. Really enjoyed this. It was an eye-opening and learned a lot of things differently.
I think it is done, sir. Thanks a lot.
Sorry, I think it is done. Photograph is done.
I don't think so.
No, but we can also take somewhere from our laptops. I don't know how it is.
Okay.
I have not tried this, but
we can take
the
a print
moment I will
screen,
pick up like this. How to do it?
Take a print screen. Control and print screen.
You take. Hello, WebCon events. Is there anyone? for taking photograph. Let me just send them.
Yeah, done.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let us meet
Everybody.
in
It was
next
a great
session now, wherever it is.
So
So I
just
would just like to
give
tell
us
you, all
1
of you,
minute
there is
more.
another way of going and attending the conference. All of
So
you
just
are
1
aware
minute
of,
more, sir.
I hope
Please.
many of us are attending that as delegate also.
Yes, yes. All
On
of
the other side of the conference. This is from the back end on the screen side, but there is the other side of the conference also.
No, it has been a quite pleasure.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it. A lot
Thank
of
you.
Hope to meet you in the future.
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Namaste.
sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.